that we would be there for 2 weeks and then taken to a 6-month shelter. And from the 6-month shelter, we would get an apartment. So we are currently in month 4 of the 6-month shelter. And we received a letter. They passed out a letter that said I guess the funding was coming from someone called Equitable Solutions, and that Equitable Solutions would no longer be funding the housing as of June 30th. So as of June 30th, they're either going to get some sort of funding from another source or move us all to different locations. I am, very bothered by the situation. I do see him, but not quite enough. We are sitting tight. As I said, we had a community meeting at this location where we were. The person I was working with was the daytime supervisor, Noel, as well as the between the City of Chicago and the Equitable Solutions. He actually worked for Equitable Solutions and was the communication with the City of Chicago and went to numerous meetings with the City of Chicago. His name was Aaron, right, Xavier? His name was Aaron, and he also verified that they would facilitate my son being coming home to us, and he's been adamant about that being taken care of. The City of Chicago has been bending over backwards to offer solutions and allowing us to have a seamless transition to family housing if Weston was able to be back. So everyone from my perspective has gone above and beyond to resolve these issues, which is why I'm still very confused as to why the issues remain. We went to a community meeting, which is what they call when all the residents, of this shelter meet in one space, and the staff kind of come out and say, this is what's going to happen. These are the next steps. They offered everyone, they offered to take everyone's name who needed a cell phone. Fortunately for Xavier and I, we both have one, and we have one backup one from the city. They also said that with regards to next steps for housing, they would be putting a letter on our beds that would tell us where our apartment was. Many people have received their letter. Xavier and I still have not. So after a period of, since 2020, living in my vehicle for nearly now 4 or 5 years, a tent, Airbnbs, hotels, I pray regularly for this resolution. I was under the impression this was already resolved and that we were just waiting on the letter. And then we received word about 3 days ago that they don't know what's going to happen, that Equitable Solutions will not be, the people funding us anymore, and that we'll know more information hopefully Friday. So I'll be able to update you guys then. But my hope for moving forward is, that I am not just here redundantly banging my head against the same wall, that no one is in a position to be moving backwards, that we continue to make progress. Personally, I want to be with my children, as I've been saying regularly on all of the lives that I've recorded and, all of the various videos that I've been sharing and pieces of content that I've been sharing. No one should be, suffering in 2024. It is scientific fact that with technology and, all of the advantages that we have in limiting that communication gap, that there is no reason for human suffering in the human experience at all whatsoever. We have the tools to eliminate it completely. So in my intro to AI class, I learned a lot about data sets and the functionality of artificial intelligence, and I'm really excited to continue learning deeper about those things. I pray and pray and pray that I will be reunited with my children on a full-time basis very soon, as I always have. I am complying with every single thing that has been requested of me. I am a fantastic mother. When I told my 10-year-old that I was being forced to take parenting classes as well as drug therapy classes, my daughter said, "But you don't do drugs. And don't they know you have 3 kids?" My 10-year-old, so if a 10-year-old can see that, there is no ifs, ands, or buts that the adults in the situation can see it. So what is the causation? What is the causal impact, that is resulting in these sorts of conditions, and how do we fix it? And this is Heather Gillespie. I always identify myself with one of my tattoos because there have been a lot of impersonators, but here I am, and everything that I have been dragged through over the last 5 years, I'm surely convinced that I'm being used, as I said a number of times, to communicate the struggle and suffering of a demographic that has been ignored. And I pray and pray that there is some sort of intervention that results in, as I said, continued progress, and that no one is forced to move back, that we're not dragged backward into more adverse and oppressive times, and that we continue to push each other forward together in a unified effort, and in an effort that doesn't result in anyone experiencing homelessness. We have more than enough properties to house everyone. We have more than enough money to support each other. And I personally have been, very, very much impacted by poverty over over my entire life. As I said, I was out of the home at 14 years old, not because I wanted to be, and I was in my own apartment at 17 years old. So I know how it's 4 kids. And I just desperately want my life back. If I could be a stay-at-home mother, focused solely on my children, that would be ideal for me. But I'm not unwilling to earn my own income, and I have the skill set and the education to do so. So as per usual, if you know of any jobs, if you know of anyone that's hiring, I'm definitely looking for remote healthcare that would allow me to be with the baby, and also something part-time because of all the services that I'm currently taking part in. I do need to be having a part-time job only. I would only be available to work Saturday, Sunday, and Monday with my current schedule, and this is not me being bougie. I'm being forced by the government to take these courses or not be a part of my children's lives, which is heartbreaking for me. If you know me, you know that I put my children first always, every single time, and always will. So everyone have a great day. My email, you guys all have it. You guys can either use Coco, GoPro Solo Production, if it is an art thing, or something for the GoPro Solo movement, which is basically a movement that I started, What's Your Impact, that requests that people look at their impact on themselves, their own lives, the people they love, and the rest of society.